We're here with Kiran Brahmandam, who is the CEO of Gaming Analytics. Welcome, Kiran.
Thank you, Frank.
And you're a relatively new, relatively small company. A lot of folks might not know you, and they might not know your company. So, tell us a little bit about yourselves and about yourself and about Gaming Analytics.
Yeah, cool. So I'm Kiran Brahmandam. I am the founder and CEO of the company Gaming Analytics, and our whole mission is to bring AI for casinos. How do we leverage this new technology and fundamentally change the way casinos run their business for better player experience and better profitability? So I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. Never thought I'd be here for so long, but prior to starting Gaming Analytics, I was working with Bally Systems, Bally Technology. I ran a lot of their systems, new development and innovation, and many of the innovative products that came from the system side since 2008 to 15. I've had a pretty significant role in making that happen. So I left that company and then started my own company to see how we can take the industry to the next generation in terms of understanding their data and making better business decisions.
Artificial intelligence has become the buzzword.
Yes.
And it may mean different things to different people.
Yes.
How do you define artificial intelligence in the gaming industry, and how do you apply it?
It's a very good question. I'm glad you brought it up. AI could mean anything, and for example, whenever you say the word AI, the first thing that comes to your mind is the sci-fi movies that you watch, the Terminators, where there is technology that's going to overtake humans and so on and so forth. And also with all the latest buzz with ChatGPTs and AGI and all that. While there may be some research going on, the way I define AI that actually makes money in the industry and outside the industry is, think about any activity humans once performed. Now you're able to actually do it much better, faster with computers at scale. And when I talk about scale, I'm talking about millions and handling millions and millions of players, billions of transactions. And that is what my definition of AI is. And that is where we have seen companies like Google, Facebook, Meta make money. So for example, if you look for an item on Google, the ads start following you, and pretty soon whatever website you go to, you got the ads, and then very soon you make a purchase. There's no human behind the scenes doing it. It's all driven by AI. So similarly, we bring this technology into the gaming industry, and then we help optimize the operations of a casino. So for example, what does it mean to a slot person? Well, they are making massive purchase decisions on what machines to buy, right? AI helps them figure out what games to buy, where to place them, how to price them. If you are somebody on the marketing side, our AI helps the casinos figure out how to spend their marketing dollars efficiently without compromising the player experience. It has impact on player development. Our software makes revenue forecasts, for the CFO teams. Our AI helps with understanding fraud, anomaly detection. So it is a technology that is not just for slots, marketing, or PD. It's a technology that enables multiple departments in a casino to look at their data differently and make much better decisions really fast, much more efficiently at scale.
One of the things that a lot of people talk about when they talk about AI in the casino industry is the ability to maximize each customer's value.
Yep.
And a question that I have is there a point at which you know so much about your customer that you cross over from maximizing his or her value to manipulating that person?
It's a very good question in the sense that we also want to make sure that it is done a little bit responsibly, right? What we have seen with our experience, and we are at approximately 245 locations. And if you take away some of the routes, we are more than 100 locations in the country, 100 casinos. So what we have seen AI being used with very good efficiency is, how do we make sure that you understand the true value of a player, and how do you make sure that the right offer goes to the player at the right time? And in a casino, what we have noticed is there's a lot of free play abuse that happens. And with our software, you're able to figure out the right experiences for that player. I don't think we have reached a stage where we have got into the manipulating a player experience per se, right? Because the adoption of technology is a little bit low in our industry, that right now we are squeezing out juices in terms of efficiencies and right player experience. Will there be a time where it goes from optimizing, having the player have a good experience versus them bringing into the other side like a compulsive gambler. That's where I think things like responsible gaming and all that would come in and handle that problem at that time. But I don't think we're at that stage at this point.
Right. At some point, the regulators can draw a line.
At some point, you have to be thinking about safe and ethical AI.
A similar question. Assuming that because your company is a pioneer in the gaming industry and AI, you probably have a lot of advantage over competitors, which you're going to be glad to tell us about. But the time might come some years out where many companies have that same computing and data ability and storage and so on. At that time, does that data become commoditized?
See, it is not the data that become commoditized. It is the ability to infer insights from that data could get commoditized, right? So for example, when you think about internet, right? Internet was there from the 70s, I think the DARPANET, the original 4 universities. But then internet took off with the advent of a browser. Until that point, internet did not take off, even though it existed for a couple of decades. So what happened with internet? The cost of information has gone to zero, effectively, right? There will come a time where the cost of cognition could go to zero. Not that the value of the data is zero, the cost of cognition could go to zero. But we're not there yet. And what is happening in terms of the industry is they're just seeing the benefits of what this technology is providing. And I still feel we're still scratching the surface, not in terms of technology, in terms of the casino operator's mindset that is being changed. So I don't think that the cost, the value of the data goes away. Now, at the same time, you also need to think about everybody has almost the same amount of data, right? If you're a casino, you got slot data, player data, hotel data. It's not like there is one casino that has more than the other. Pretty much everybody has the same amount of data. Where you gain the competitive advantage from a casino operator's perspective is, do you have the right management team that is a lot more data driven to realize the value of that data and make business decisions? So think of it like there are some terms that says, AI is not going to take your job. A person with AI is going to take a job of a person without AI. But I kind of extend it to a little bit even more and say, management teams that understand AI are going to actually outcompete and beat management teams that don't understand AI. And there is a lot of opportunity for the executives in the casino operator side to actually learn more about this technology. So.
Okay, now we'll talk about gaming analytics a little bit. What is your competitive advantage? If I'm a casino, why am I contracting with you?
So there's a few things. I don't believe a competitive advantage is just one thing. To me, it is a set of things that create that unique advantage. So for us, one of the foundational, I used to work in a big company making good money. I left the company and built a platform where the foundation of it is machine learning and AI. So what do I mean by that? Typically, the way you consume information in the business life is through a bunch of these reports and Excel. We built the first natural language processing engine where you just type a question and you get an answer. And we have done that in 2017, 2018, right? And it is a hard problem to solve, right? Having business users type questions and get answers on the fly where the software does not hallucinate, one of the problems with AI, and gives you a reliable answer all the time. So those are difficult problems that we have cracked. So that also makes it extremely easy for the business users to access information. We have GMs and CFOs and CEOs using our product. When was the last time you heard about executives using an analytics product in the industry? Pretty much never. That's one aspect of it. And then we were able to leverage that amazing platform that we have and then start building models that solve multiple problems in a casino. And by the way, you may argue that building models writing software becomes cheaper and faster as time goes on. And probably the rate at which software development happens is exponential. But the rate at which you build trust on the algorithms with your casino operators, to me, is linear. Meaning, it takes time for the casino operator to see all these algorithms doing what they're supposed to do, and them seeing an impact to the bottom line. And we have done that. We have done that for the last 5 years, 6 years. And what some of our competition announces as new features now, that was GA 3.5 years ago, gaming analytics 3.5 years ago. So we have a significant advantage, not just in terms of R&D, in terms of proving that our models work. And we probably are one of the few companies, or probably the only company that has so many case studies that we actually publish on our site with social proof, with video proofs about customers talking about our product. So technology, early adoption, amazing customer service, and continuously working with our customers as part of our business model to enhance the product. And I think that is going to keep the leg up, right, for our company as time goes on.
So what will gaming analytics look like 3-4 years from now?
See, I don't think about how gaming analytics will look like. I think about how the user experience is going to look like from a casino operator's perspective. So the reason I started this company is with a much higher vision than where we are today, right? Because to get to the vision, you have to execute a series of steps. So I started the company thinking, can there be a day where a casino operator can say, can I get an extra 3% coin in on a Tuesday? Because that's how businesses ask these questions, right? Think about their business. And then a software that just figures out if that's your objective, here are the recipes, offers, segments that you should try, the groups of people you should target at a personalized individual level. And then the casino operator can just tweak their recipes, push a button, and the whole thing magically happens, right? So to me, imagine the entire world of analytics comes to a GM or a CFO asking a question. I need 4% more new players. And then there's a piece of software that orchestrates the whole thing. That is what our vision is. That is what takes this industry to the next level. And that is where we see gaming analytics being. Now, when we execute that, and we have all the building blocks to actually make it happen, because we know how to send offers, we know how to personalize offers, we know what machines to buy, we know what influences a particular player. We've got all the building blocks, and now we are putting it together with some of our customers to go to that next level. When we achieve that, I'm pretty sure gaming analytics would be a pretty significant player in the company. But our focus is what's the user experience, and then the financial part of the company automatically takes care of itself.
We're at G2E, and you'll have lots of folks coming by your booth. What are the 1 or 2 things you want to make sure they see at your booth?
So until now, this is our 6th or 7th G2E, I think, with this company. And we always show actually really working product in a live production environment. So customers see real product with real machine learning in action. But the pivot and the shift that they're going to see in this year is, it's not just being able to ask a question, it's not able to get a slot recommendation, it's not just able to get what a predicted value of a player is and what offer should I run. We have evolved our software into a living being where our software now is constantly scanning the data in your casino and filtering insights that you have never even thought about. So most of the analytics companies, you ask for information, you get the information. Right? That's how products are built. So it all depends on how many questions you can ask. And if you're not asking the right question, you don't get the right answer. Now we have evolved to a stage where our software is scanning the data and say, by the way, did you notice that you lost 8% revenue because these 73 players from this particular city stopped coming back to the casino? Did you notice that these 3 games that you install, a bank of these games installed, actually continuously have dropped performance? And our engine is actually generating the insights, and I'm looking at this with fascination. We don't know what insights it's going to pick up, but we have got a model that scans the data, figures out what is relevant, what is important by user role in a casino, and filtering those insights for them. And that is, it's just like a living, you're watching a living thing do its magic on data. And there's nothing, I shouldn't say nothing, we're pretty proud of that. And maybe, I don't know what others are doing, but I think we've got something pretty cool that opens up a lot of eyes. And the whole idea here, Frank, is, like I said, can we condense the whole decision-making process into 2 or 3 questions? And can you have information come to you and educate you and enlighten you rather than you figuring out what to ask? And that's the transformation that customers are going to see when they come to our booth 1416.
Kiran, one more question talking about gaming analytics itself as a company. Tell us a little bit about the growth that you've achieved so far.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Just checking some numbers. So we ended 2021 with about 4 casinos in our portfolio, right? And now we're in about 105 casinos, and if I include route operations, add another 143. So the growth that we have experienced over the last 3 to 4 years is amazing. And also revenue has actually gone up 10x, and we've been doubling our revenue every single year for the last 3 years. And that also says that we must be doing something right, and our customer satisfaction scores are also pretty good. And we are also able to educate the industry on the benefits of AI, and we're also able to make sure that our customers are realizing the value, and they're also spreading the news. So we feel like it's a pretty good organic way of growing the business rather than just raising a bunch of capital and doing it. So we are debt-free, we're profitable, and we just hope to continue the momentum, keep our head down, and see what happens.
Kiran, a very fascinating, very informative discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Frank. It's an honor to be on this. Thank you. Thank you.